Hey, everybody. Welcome to my show, My So-Called Fabulous. I'm Tiffany Blackman. How you doing out there today? So excited to come to you today. And seriously, how are you doing? Please let me know. You should. I wonder how that world out there is doing. So welcome to my show today. And I am so excited to have this woman back on my show. She was here about before we were all quarantined, with her group of people, the Moms Camp Retreat.
Yes.
And I asked Sarah that very day, I'm like, I'd love to have you on because she has such a great story. But everyone welcome business and dream coach, Sarah Darby.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, Tiffany.
Oh, it's so good to see you again. Goodness, and we were face to face, right?
I know. How wonderful.
I know. How are your kids?
They're doing so well. They
are.
They're little enough to
Not understand.
They don't. They occasionally they'll say like, when is this virus going to be over?
Oh, yeah, 6 and 3. Can you imagine?
Yeah, and it's really strange to hear them talk about that at such a young age, but they're doing really well. And we have been able to find plenty of things, I think, to do.
Right.
Still to keep them busy. And it's flying by. The summer. That's what's weird is school is starting soon. And it feels like we've been at home for months. We have, but for some reason it feels like the summer is going so quick and I don't know why.
So tell me this. So you're in Mansfield.
Mm-hmm.
You and your girls are in Mansfield.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the Mansfield schools doing?
Well, they go to Pantego Christian Academy. And so it's a little bit different, because they, yesterday they let us know that we would be in school. We would be having in-person classes, and it's a wonderful atmosphere because the classes are pretty small, and so they can do all of the appropriate social distance things. But Mansfield ISD is doing. Of course, things are changing all the time. But the latest is that you have the option to do virtual or in-person school, which to me is I'm so thankful I don't make these decisions.
Right.
But teachers, I'm just wondering what the expectation is for how you're supposed to manage that.
Right. Academically and testing and all those things. I know. I if you're a teacher out there, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. You are adored.
Incredible people.
People and givers and can't tell you how much we appreciate the teachers. Yeah. So, and the politicians, I can't imagine being a politician right now. No,
nobody's winning. I feel like there's nobody is winning with everybody.
No.
You know what I mean? We're all feeling so polarized right now. It's exhausting.
It is. Okay. So when I talk to you, and I want everyone to know that you, again, are a business and dream coach, but you went to Belmont in Nashville, Tennessee, and graduated in 2006 with a music degree.
Yes.
Did I say commercial music degree?
Commercial music.
Okay. Right. Now tell me what that is and what that entails.
Totally. So sometimes people think, does that have to do with commercials?
You just do commercials.
It doesn't have anything. It could if that's what you wanted to do, but no, it's not commercials. It's commercial styles. So that would be defined as anything that's not classical. So my degree is in commercial music with an emphasis in performance. So I studied everything about live performance, studio performances for any genre of music. And I did take 5 semesters of classical voice as well before I could start the commercial study. But it's singing. It's all singing. No business background at all. Just music.
Okay. So I'm thinking that you can sing.
I can.
Not as good as I can. Is that right, Paul?
You have an amazing voice, Tiffy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I think your best work was Brick House.
There you go. Right when I got a little nervous, I was about to cry. So I cannot wait to hear you sing.
Oh,
I really can't. I was driving here today and I went, I haven't even heard her sing.
That's so
I bet she can. Because Belmont is known for music, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And you're from Texas. You're from Mansfield.
Yeah.
So
how did I get?
Yeah. How did you get there?
Well, actually,
other than music?
It's so interesting how God plants desires in our hearts. Everything is like for a reason and always comes back around. But growing up, I would say like probably from middle school on, I really wanted to be a counselor. I really was fascinated by psychology and had my heart set on that until my senior year of high school. And at that point, I started thinking, I don't know that I want to study that. And I started getting kind of restless about it, and I really wanted to sing. And I didn't know what to do except to study music in school. And I didn't really feel like that's what I wanted to do. But I was getting my teeth cleaned one day when I was a senior in high school.
Beautiful teeth, by the way.
Thank you. And the lady cleaning my teeth, she said, I just had mentioned that to her because, when you're a senior, everybody wants to know what you're doing after high school. And she said, you should look at this school called Belmont University in Nashville. So imagine this, almost 20 years ago, internet was pretty much not even a thing. So if you wanted information, you had to request, they would send you in the mail, you get your packet and it's just a totally different thing. There's no such thing as like getting instant information. It's so strange to think about that. But as soon as she started describing what she knew about this program, I knew that is exactly what I wanted. I didn't know that that's what I needed, but that's what I want. So I applied sometime in my senior year. It couldn't audition until the summer before my freshman year, but it never occurred to me that maybe I wouldn't get in, or maybe I needed a plan B, or maybe nobody said, hey, what about a backup plan? There was no such thing. And that's kind of how I've lived my life. There are no backup plans.
There's not a plan.
And we work the plan.
There's not a plan B.
Right. No, there are no plan Bs. We work this plan, and I did. And it's just funny now as I work with teenagers at the studio, because I coach singers now, and they usually have like a list, the top schools, and I didn't. It was Belmont or bust for me. So I auditioned in July. School started in August. Got the call on my way home from the audition that you've been accepted. And, So it was no shock to me, but looking back on it, it's so funny that I did not know that I should make other plans just in case that didn't work out.
Well, you would tell your girls, you need a plan B.
Totally.
By the way, P.S., you need a plan B. Yes.
Just like, what about this? No, I was just... And maybe my parents knew that. Maybe they knew that about me. I don't know.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
So you went off to Nashville and had 4 amazing years, I'm sure, right?
4 amazing years. Yeah, it was an incredible experience. And so much about Belmont and college for everybody, but certainly for those years of my life, was so much more than music. It was so much more than, and that's why I hurt for students who maybe not or may not be able to go back to school in person. It's just, college is not, it's this much about academics, I think, and this much about your emotional growth and maturity and
social.
Yeah. There's so much more that happens.
I think about that. So Kennedy, my daughter's a senior. She's now a senior at TCU, and she's actually at home teaching herself right now. But my heart aches for her because she's such a huge TCU football fan. Yeah. Who knows?
Right.
In her senior year, not with her friends and, not living with her friends. And so it's just, there's a lot of other problems in the world, but it just, my heart hurts too for these kids in all ages, right? K through, higher education. What's going on? And, can you imagine being a freshman in college and, never mind, you're going to stay home.
And starting your college experience that way.
Right. And, with you being a music major, obviously, you can't really do that. I don't know. How would you?
Well, one of my former students is at Belmont now. She's just so dear to me, Danielle, and she just got word yesterday that her senior showcase, her recital, which is the pinnacle of your experience as a music major. They just let them know that they would have recitals, but nobody would be able to attend them. So she's supposed to, work. You don't just prepare like in a semester. This is essentially something you've worked for the entire time. So she's supposed to end her senior year with a recital that nobody can come to.
Virtually.
Oh my gosh. It's just heartbreaking.
I know. I know. Anticlimactic is the way
it's disappointing. It is. And so much of life right now is navigating disappointment.
It is.
At every age. And there's no disappointment that is bigger than any other, really. Disappointment is disappointment. Grief is grief. So we don't have to compare. We find ourselves, I hear a lot of people say, and I catch myself doing this a lot too, but just saying, well, it could be worse. Yeah, but this is bad.
This is bad.
It doesn't, for me to tell myself or anybody else, well, at least, we don't have to silver line this. There's no silver linings here for anybody. And it doesn't matter if you're disappointed that your daughter didn't finish kindergarten the way you imagined, or if your daughter didn't finish high school or college. Right. It's just disappointing.
It is. It is. And everyone, I think, I think you have to admit that.
Exactly.
You don't have to be, you don't have to say that that's not true,
Right.
because it is true.
It's totally true.
So you have several things, and we're going to hit on all these things, but you have Destiny Studio,
Yeah.
which is your music studio.
Yep.
You are a business career coach, a business coach for women, and you have workshops. So those three items that we are going to hit. But I'm going to take you a little bit, everyone, through her timeline, because when you graduated, you decided to stay in Nashville. Of course. I mean, what a first of all, it's beautiful. Second of all, I mean, the music's, I mean, you don't have to be a country singer, I'm sure.
No, all kinds of music industry there.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to be a country singer because you'll live there now. But you graduated and you were diagnosed.
Yeah.
Right? With
Yes.
cancer. So you were diagnosed with, tell us that, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So what happened, Sarah?
Well, I graduated in 2002 and was ready to enter the workforce and just knew that somebody was going to hire me. And it was going to be really quick and easy. I am a first generation college graduate and thought that that's like, you graduate from college and you get a dream job. You just land a dream job. Yeah. And I figured out so quick that that is not at all what happens. So I was working 3 part-time jobs, just still really wanted to be in the music business. Also, I wanted to be in the music business, but I was also kind of feeling a pull towards other things, though I didn't quite know what that was yet at 22. So working a lot, just making ends meet like we do when we're 22, and got really healthy. I started working out for the first time, and I ran a half marathon for the first time, and I was just doing different things like that I had not ever done before. And let's see, so a half marathon at the end of April, and by July, just 2 months later, I could not finish a 5K. It was like a July 4th thing. And that's right around the time where I started feeling bad. And I thought, this is so odd that how did I get so out of shape in like 2 months? And I'm so in so much pain and so winded. I can't even finish this race. And so, but I didn't immediately go to cancer, but I was just thinking,
why?
What's wrong with me?
What
Shame on me.
What type of pain?
Like tightness in my chest, just difficulty breathing, and then extremely tired, low energy. Walking up the stairs to my apartment was very difficult. And it just came out of the blue. So that only went on for about 2 weeks before I knew that something was really wrong. And then I developed a low grade fever. And again, when I would lay down, I would just feel like something was sitting on me. I was so tight in my chest. So I went to the doctor, just the regular primary care doctor. And I said, I don't know what is going on, but something is wrong with me. I was 23 at that time. And she was so gracious and so good. And, could have very easily said, well, you're working 3 jobs. Yeah. You know, you're young and you're healthy. I'm sure you're fine. Yeah. But instead she's like, no, we're going to get to the bottom of this and don't worry. And I was emotional because I was just so frustrated and I felt so bad.
No family out there.
No
right?
family out there. No, my family was 700 miles away from home. Away from me. I was 700 miles away from home. And so she said, I want you to go do this chest x-ray and then we'll do all this blood work and then I'll talk to you in a couple of days. So I did the chest x-ray, blood work, and she called and said, well, your x-ray was normal, but your blood work's very abnormal. So I need you to go do this CT scan. So I did the CT scan and they found a large mass that was surrounding my heart. And that's why they didn't see it on the x-ray because it just looked like the organ. So my tumor was literally covering. This is a whole story. We could do a whole podcast on this one thing,
right?
But this mass was completely suffocating me, and that's why I could not breathe. And it's just the weirdest thing, like a web around my heart. If you can just imagine that,
I know.
So strange, right?
Just squeezing your heart.
Yeah, yeah, and it was growing fast, which is why I had only had symptoms for a couple of weeks. So started a really wonderful series of events that led up to being able to start chemotherapy very quickly.
Wow.
And I stayed in Nashville instead of coming home because I was right there at one of the best cancer centers in the world. And so it didn't make sense for me to come back
You're
here.
at Vanderbilt, right?
Vanderbilt, yeah. So I started in September, and by December the 31st, the last day of the year, was my last treatment, which was so cool to end that year. And it was totally like, of course, a very defining time in my life. But to end the year that way and to be able to start January 1st of 2008, it felt like the beginning of a brand new life. And I will say that it was textbook perfect. I mean, I didn't have any complications. There was nothing unexpected that came up. Of course, it wasn't easy, but had wonderful friends there. And it felt like just a thing that I needed to experience. I needed to move through this difficult and uncertain thing, because that was what gave me a tremendous amount of courage to face the future. And when you confront death at 23 years old,
23,
what a gift to be able to ask hard questions instead of experiencing that at 63, 73, 83.
Right.
And so I really think that it was the very best thing that could have happened to me at that time.
Gosh, you're kidding.
So one more year, I stayed in Nashville, worked in the music business for a year, and then was by the end of that year, my adrenaline was expired. I was so tired and ready to come home at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So do we want to talk about how I got back home?
Yes.
Okay. Any more questions about that? Did I just
No. Again, that is I really want to educate people on cancer,
Yes.
and that is a different podcast. Of
It is.
course.
It totally is. And I'm very, very, still very, interested / concerned about young adult cancer, because there are so many that are diagnosed so late. And that's what I did find out, was that it was unusual that I was diagnosed so quickly and so early, and was able to have the best care and best treatment, because so many young adults are not handled that way.
Right.
And they are dismissed. And by the time they get to an oncologist, they're in a very advanced stage of their disease.
Right.
So
you caught it.
I did.
Oh, and
I'm
that
so
wonderful
thankful.
doctor.
I
That
know.
wonderful doctor, right? Well, yes. So you came home, and I was looking at your bio,
Mm-hmm.
and I asked Sarah before when she walked in. I said, "Okay, what is this Craigslist thing?" She was saying to me, "Okay, you came home, gosh, and started your business in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
So 2008, 9 when it said she said, "Oh, my Craigslist ads," and I went, "What are you selling? Furniture?" I mean, and she said, "No, my business." So tell us, you started Destiny Studio, but tell us what you were doing.
Yeah. So I was on a tour bus somewhere in America at the end of 2008, and I was just so much wanting to move home. But what do you do with a commercial music degree if you're not in the music business and if you're not singing? And I thought, well, maybe I could teach voice lessons. I don't know. I never had any voice lessons growing up. My first lessons were in college, which was a bit unusual. But I thought, well, I don't know. I can do that while I figure out I'm going to do that on the side and figure out what I'm going to do with my life. But maybe I can I don't know. We'll just throw it out there and see what happens.
And I need money.
Yeah, and I need money. I had no money. I was coming home with no money.
You had $100 in your
Yeah, I had no money, nothing. And so I put some ads on Craigslist, which I have to explain or remind people that 12-ish years ago, that was so normal. If you were looking for like a service or anything, a lot of small businesses didn't have websites yet. And so if you were looking for something, you just like ads on Craigslist and find just about anything that you wanted. So I did. It made, and I think I did have a really terrible website that I made myself, which I wish I could have captured that somehow, because I bet it was awful. I can't even imagine that it was good. But I did have some kind of online presence, and these ads just offering voice lessons to people this is even weirder, people to come into my house. I moved home to live with my mom.
Again, 12 years ago.
I know. The world has changed so much in 12
Yes, it
years.
has.
I would never do that today. But my mom was so gracious and like, absolutely. She had extra room. And so,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, people started responding instantly to the ads, and I was like, this might work. This might be a thing. So I did that for a couple of weeks, and then that first week I was home, which was the first week of January of 2009, I had a handful of students already. And I remember that very first lesson thinking, they have no idea. I've never done this before. Fake it till you make it. So,
This is true. Fake it till you make it.
Naturally, it was a little girl, and naturally her mom wanted to come in, which I had not mentally prepared for. I had not thought yet that, oh, what if the parents want to come in? Of course they do. And so then I was really nervous because, again, I mean, I can probably trick a kid, but like, can I fool this mom?
Right.
But it went so well. And of course I just kept doing it a little bit more. And I don't know, like by April, I had almost 20 students, and it was growing really quickly. So in April, I moved into an office space, and that's where I've been for the last 11 years.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just through Craigslist.
Literally started on Craigslist. So my encouragement is always start with what you have. I've never borrowed money in business. I've cash flowed the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that unusual?
That is highly unusual.
But it wasn't, to be completely honest, it wasn't super intentional. It just never occurred to me that I had a vision for what I wanted the business to look like someday, but I wasn't thinking, how do I make that happen today? It was like, start with what you have and do the next right thing. And that's been
that's been your mantra.
Yeah. It's been my mantra the entire time. So today, almost 12 years in, we coach about 200 people a week, and I have 12 instructors, 10 or 12 instructors. Yeah.
And so, in what services, what types of music do your instructors?
Yeah, we can.
Should I apply?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
We do voice, guitar, piano, drums, songwriting, and we have an artist development program now. This is our 3rd year for students who really want more out of their experience and who really want to be in the music business. We have a 9-month program for them that includes lots of performances, recording videos, a big live band ticketed show at the end, workshops, lots of stuff. It's very cool. And it's the experience that I wish I had had when I was young that wasn't offered. So I'm really proud of that. But all ages, people ask, this is very common, like, but I'm terrible. Could you teach me how to sing? Of course we can. We can absolutely. True tone deafness is so rare. People say that a lot. Like,
you
I'm
can
tone
teach
deaf.
me how to sing.
Absolutely.
Paul.
I absolutely can.
I don't believe that.
Well,
You may have your hands full. I'm not saying she can, but I'm saying that it's going to be some work.
I'm gonna have to work hard for the money.
Everyone, I'm in studio with 2 professional singers. So okay, then there's me. Okay, two against 1. So Paul's highly doubtful. I don't think he's putting his money into to me. So you can teach.
Absolutely. Now I will say some of the hardest clients I ever had were at the very beginning, and I'm so glad, because I had to address all kinds of things I'd never thought of before. Like, what if somebody really can't sing? That hadn't come into my mind yet. I just thought,
you are a dreamer.
I am a dreamer. I'm a true visionary. Up until, a few months in, everybody had been average or above average, just can carry a tune, just, an average singer, until this one young man who called or emailed and said, I want to sing. This is such a good story. I don't tell this enough. He said, I want to sing at my wedding. And I'm like, okay, that sounds awesome. So if you want to sing at your wedding, then you're a singer. This isn't somebody that just dreamed this up last night. So when he came in for his first lesson, he said, I'm also taking lessons from somebody else, but I just want to get as much experience as I can. So I thought maybe having 2 teachers was a good idea.
Is that a good idea?
It's not really a good idea. It doesn't. No, if you want more lessons, just take from the same person. You don't need 2 different people.
Exactly.
So I don't know how else to say this, but he was terrible. It was like, really, like, I was so taken aback. It almost felt like a joke, but it wasn't, because he kept coming back. And so I'm like, he's going to sing at his wedding. And I'm feeling this tremendous pressure, because as a female, I felt an obligation to encourage him to let your fiance know about this. This is not a good surprise. Gosh. This is a terrible idea. And just to up the ante, he was actually going to be at the reception, and he had already bought an Elvis costume, because he was singing, Wise men say, Fools Rush In. And so I was like, I was feeling traumatized just thinking about it.
You have a fiduciary duty to tell her.
Exactly. I don't know. And it was like, I wanted to keep working with him because I wanted it to not be bad, but anyway. So towards the end, he looked at me very seriously and he said, now, do you think could I ever sing like Josh Groban? And I was like, this is where my integrity comes in.
Okay.
No, you will not ever sing like Josh Groban. You can get better. But and then we started talking about natural ability and just, you're a wonderful person, but that's not in the cards for you. I don't know how else to tell you that.
Oh my goodness.
And you know what? I never saw him after his wedding, so I have no idea how it went. And to this day, it's been 11 years. I'm dying to know.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine?
Ooh.
But that scenario has never repeated itself. It was okay, Sarah, you need to learn how to work through these challenging.
That is a challenge.
It was a challenge.
Yeah. Trust me, I'd be the female version of that one. But I'm not singing at my wedding. That would drive Greg away. I know.
I had so many questions about the whole thing.
I do want to sing for her because I want her to say, no, that's not it. That ain't it. That ain't it.
That's your gift.
Okay, so you have the successful studio.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, that is so great. I mean, you're thinking that we would never have that, which I do have a point here, but that is you dreaming and then you were doing, and you are still doing.
Yeah.
So I remember talking to you. I don't even remember what month it was when you girls were here for mom's camp, but I remember you telling me, because I think we were about to go into quarantine or we out. I don't even remember if we.
I don't know.
I can't remember one or the other. But you were saying, I am ready to get back in the studio with my students.
Right. We were
because
all online.
You were all virtual. So we must have been in quarantine. So how was that? I was teaching them because it's doable, right? I mean, but you were just hands-on.
Yeah, it's exhausting. I'm so thankful for the internet.
Yes.
And so thankful that we have that. Again, 15 years ago, I don't know, I think this would have destroyed it would have destroyed my business. I would have never been able to continue. But I'm thankful for the internet, thankful for Zoom.
Zoom. Is that how y'all did it?
Yeah, we did it all on Zoom. It wasn't the same, but it worked. And the gift of COVID and the gift of quarantine in business is that it showed me and gave me the opportunity to explore things in business that I'd never really wanted to. I've never really wanted to go the online route or offer services online because there is it's different. I'm such a relational person, and I feel like a lot of the best things about the studio are the relationships that we have built in person. But what I've learned is that you can do that online. You can absolutely do that online. It's just a little bit different. We're able now to get people back in the studio, and we do that safely, but we have continued to give them that option. So we have some that continued online, and now we can we can serve people all over the world. Whereas before I would have never explored that opportunity.
No.
So that was a really wonderful thing. And I think we talked about before we started about in business, how, at many different points, not just because of a pandemic, but for a number of reasons, you always have the option to ride the wave or get crushed by it. And if you are not willing to go with culture, then you're going to drown. Your business will not survive. So it was kind of like, okay, this is where people are. This is where they're at. We got to meet them where they're at. And we have to start offering solutions to problems that they don't even know they have yet. They don't know that they have, that they're missing. Well, like right now, we're talking about what are we going to be able to offer when school starts that we've never offered before that's going to meet needs for the new homeschooling parent, because I believe there's going to be a lot more people homeschooling. Well, they don't know yet that they're going to probably be missing their arts education, their music education. They haven't thought of that yet. So if we can go ahead and let them know, hey, we have your kids not getting the music that they used to get in school. We have all of these online options or in-person options for you. And then people are like, oh my gosh, you're exactly right. We need that. So getting creative about offering solutions that are true solutions to the problems that people don't even know that they have. That's a huge part of being innovative and creative and riding the wave.
Exactly. And reinventing your business too, right? Paul and I've talked about this hundreds of times of reinventing your business, because businesses are, we were talking before the show, it's a lot of doom and gloom.
Sure.
And I understand it. Yeah. I get it. 1000%. So it can be. And you reinventing yourself or extending yourself. You're not even reinventing yourself. You're extending. So that music, I mean, that is a great idea. You moms and dads that are homeschooling out there. I love that. And it's destinystudio.com. Is that correct?
.net.
.net.
And we're in Mansfield, but we can serve anybody anywhere.
Isn't that great? I know. Golly. Okay. So moving on, you knew. Okay, I'm going to compare ourselves because about 2 years ago, a year and a half, well, my majority of my career, I knew there's something else. Like there's something else. I'm a chef. I've done it, and it's great. And that's my career, blah, blah, blah. And I always have my passion for food. But I'm like, there's something else. And my daughter getting me into Instagram. I'm like, now I'm influencer and podcaster, and I love it. I love it. Is it difficult? Oh my goodness. Are there days I wake up? I mean, my team, I'm negative Nelly, So you knew something, there was something for you, something different.
Yeah.
And that's when you started your business coaching.
Yes.
So tell us how and why you started this, other than there was something else.
Totally. So when I got to the 10-year mark in business, which was in January of 2009,
which congratulations, 10 years.
Thank you.
You're so proud.
I know. The statistics are very low for businesses that survive even 5 years. So I'm very thankful and proud of that. But January of 2019, I was it was the 10-year mark. And felt very content and very grateful, but also started to feel some restlessness about maybe that there's something else, that there's something more, something different. And what I really felt, and I always spend January 1st for me is like the unicorn day. I'm very serious about starting over, clean slate, new year, goals, resolutions, if you want to call it that, whatever, but just really getting a clear vision for the future. And as I was praying about and thinking about and dreaming about the future at that time, what I felt like God was saying to me was that my lane was changing. So I really kept that in my heart, moving forward into that year. And shortly into the year, probably within that month or so, a friend, and she was really more of an acquaintance at the time. She had a small business, and she reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you be willing to let me just pick your brain? I've got some questions. I've been watching you and your business, and I feel like I just need somebody who's in it who can actually help me." And she just very practical questions about hiring and how to grow and different types of programs to offer, and how do you put the right people in place, and taxes and contract versus employee, and all the different kinds of just very tactical things that sometimes we just need somebody to answer those most basic questions who's actually doing it. And I said, "Sure, I would love to help you. I'd love to meet with you." So we met and talked for probably about 3 hours, and she was so grateful. But what was so interesting was how energized I felt in the conversation. It didn't feel like a drain. It felt like, oh my gosh, I could talk about this forever. This is so easy for me. It's intuitive. So I just kind of made a mental note. I loved that. And then about 3 more people, completely out of the blue, not people in my close network, similar thing, reached out to me and said, "Hey, I've got some questions, trying to start this thing. Could I ask you about that?"
Wait, you weren't advertising this?
No. It was like, I'm just going back to what I felt like God said to me, your lane is changing. And I'm just kind of remembering that, watching, and then doing the next right thing. Okay, remember? That's my mantra. Do the next right thing.
Do the next right thing.
And so we look for arrows, not signs. So these arrows keep pointing in this direction. I'm paying attention to that. And finally, a few months later, getting close to August, I would say around June or July, I took a nap. I love naps. And I woke up, and it was like I shot out of bed with this whole thought, this complete thought about business coaching. I'd never I hadn't had that aha moment yet. And I basically put a post on Instagram and Facebook about it. It was just like I just started typing, and it was just crystal clear, and thought, again, kind of like put the ads on Craigslist. I don't know. Is this weird? I've never done this before. And so I'm just going to throw up this post, and people started responding and flooding my inbox with, "Oh my gosh, yes, I need help. I need help. I need help." So I did 10 intro calls, just kind of talking to women. Are you, let me hear more about you and what your needs are and what your dreams are and what you're doing. And let's see if I feel like this is something I can help you with. And 10 out of 10 signed up for coaching. And we worked together all through the fall. And I've been on a hiatus for the last several months, going through personal things of my own. But it was what I saw during that time were that the needs that women have that are universal. I just kept hearing, it's kind of like voice coaching. I mean, eventually you just see it's the same thing over and over. We all are needing the same thing. It's just your your strategy is a little bit different for each person and their approach because their businesses are different.
But what is that same thing we all need? What would be the number one?
Every woman, oh man, I don't know if I can narrow it down to exactly one thing, but holistically, we're looking for balance and harmony in all the parts of our lives. We want to have our cake and eat it too. And a lot of women are either in the workforce and they are wondering if they are where they're supposed to be. Should I be with my family? Am I okay working? I feel like I've got these gifts to offer the world, but yet I feel very guilty when I'm away. Or women are at home and they wonder if they should be somewhere else.
Right.
I have these gifts to offer the world, but I'm not using them in that way. Women want to know that can I do it? How do I manage it? How do I navigate that? How do I do the wife thing, the mom thing, the work thing, the friend thing,
The guilt.
and managing the guilt. So it's balance that everybody's looking for. And then certainly they want permission to do those things and a strategy. How do I make it happen?
Right. And that's what you're doing.
Yeah, that's what I get to do.
Is that so exciting? You
It's
do
so
love
exciting.
it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so passionate about it. Yeah.
I know you are. I mean, it comes through. If you go to your website,
Good.
and it just comes through. I mean,
So glad.
I mean, it's just, I want that for everyone.
Yes.
You know, I've had Sarah, and we're not sure if I'm 54 or 55. I can't remember.
Doesn't matter.
I can't even remember. So, but I've had more friends reach out to me and say, this is what you need to do on your podcast. Changing careers at your age. I have a friend that's an attorney and she wants to be a Pilates instructor.
She needs to do it.
She's like, but the education and but my heart's not in it, and I'm like, well, you're 55 years old and it's time.
Oh my gosh, it's time.
It's time. I mean, does that give you chills? It just gives me chills because.
Well, I told you that I have a course that I just created called Peaceful Productivity. And I'll launch it. We're about to start this first round and I'll launch it again in January. But at the very beginning of the course, spoiler alert, I ask this question and it's, so what do you want life to look like when you're 80? And I attended a retreat a couple of years ago and it was called Making Things Happen. Laura Casey's the creator of that. And she created a tool that I use a lot called Power Sheets. I absolutely love Power Sheets. But she asked that question, what do you want life to look like when you're 80? And that was a game changer for me because all of a sudden, when you begin with the end in mind and work backwards from that, all of the things, the decisions that we make today that feel maybe sometimes arbitrary, they're not arbitrary. Every single thing that you say yes and no to is leading you somewhere. And you have to constantly be thinking, what do I want to be known for? What do I want to be remembered for? What is my legacy? And what do I want my life to look like when I'm 80?
Right.
And then all of a sudden things become maybe not crystal clear. There's a few more steps, but a lot clearer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What do I want to feel when I'm looking back on my life?
I know. Right.
Yeah.
I know. When I was working in I had Kennedy at 34. So, 38, 39, traveling like crazy, getting on an airplane 2 or 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And I would pull out the suitcase and she would just fall and start crying. And, but I'm like, I've got to get to this next level.
Yeah.
I have to do this show. I have to go across the United States and do a cooking show. And, it was just like that anxiety of, and I couldn't think about that, what you're suggesting, when I'm 80, because that young self.
Oh yeah.
Just gets caught in that career. And I say to these young men and women, you just want to sit back and smell the roses. But I mean, it was real. My fear and my anxiety was real, but I had to do it.
Sure.
But I think about, oh gosh, what did I miss with her? I missed her kindergarten pictures, and it makes me want to cry because what are we missing? And a blessing for COVID is parents are getting to see more with their children, for sure. There's definitely that. They're at home spending time, too much time.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure. But you know that young self. I mean, the age of the women. What is the average age of the women that you see? Is there a common denominator?
I think. Well, I love young adults, but I'm 36, so I'm not so much of a young adult anymore. But like going through the course right now, I have in college through 50s.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you hit every demographic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every age, that is so great. Sarah, I'm so excited. Okay. So while we're recording this, I mean, I think, we're not sure when this podcast released, but you are doing your workshop. So tell us about the workshop. And I was reading on your website. Tell us all about it. Like, what does it entail? How do you sign up? I mean, what is the scoop on this?
So depending on when we air.
Yes. And because you're going to do it again in January. Okay.
Yeah.
21.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go to my website and get on the waiting list for the course, and I'll let you know as soon as it releases and as soon as you can. And January will be a wonderful time for people to go through this process. It's 5 days. It's all delivered online. So it's me teaching very short videos, probably 10 minutes. And then there is a workbook that goes with all of the video lessons. And I take you, it's very manageable. I intentionally did it thinking of the woman who's just like me, who's got a million things and who is a mom potentially, and she can't spend a ton of time on this at once. So it's delivered in probably 20 to 30 minute segments, including the worksheets. And you do it for 5 days. There's a private Facebook group where I'm teaching in there also. And you can connect with other women who are in this same season and asking the same questions that you are. It's all online. It's while I will take you through it over those 5 days, you can come back to it anytime and you have lifetime access. So as I add every launch, I'll be adding new content and you'll be able to get that forever and ever.
You'll have a library.
Yeah.
Is this the first one that you've done?
Very first one.
Okay. Then you're doing that July 13th is the week that starts. So when you're doing this, I love what you're saying because we've all been to conferences,
right? And
it's a Friday through Sunday. And who has that? You're a single mom. Who really, honestly, I love that. I saw that on your website and I thought, oh my goodness, that is brilliant.
Yeah. And if you wanted to block out like 3 hours and just knock it all out at one time, you totally could do that. But if you want to do it in bite-sized pieces, and that's kind of why I created it that way. Getting away for any extended period of time can be really, really difficult and overwhelming and a barrier for sure. And I don't want there to be any barriers for anybody. This course was designed to help women clarify what matters to them so that they can make what matters happen every single day. So the problem with goal setting, it's called peaceful productivity because I believe that we don't have to be hustling constantly to make good things happen.
Right.
There's a lot of women who are exhausted and they're doing really good things, but they don't understand why they're not actually moving the needle, but they're busy all the time, but like nothing's happening. So this is the anti-hustle movement. Like that's what I've been calling it. This is the anti-hustle. I believe that you can be completely productive, but also at peace. And you don't have to feel like you're missing something, not doing enough. And the answer to that is getting so clear on what matters. So basically I take you through in 5 days. Where am I at today? Let's get really honest about how I'm feeling about these different things, what's working for me and what's not working for me. And then we move into identifying core values. We write a vision statement for our life. We establish what we want our legacy to be. And then we move into making an action plan. We set goals that are based on our vision and core values. A lot of times we're setting goals that are not in alignment with our core values or with our vision for our life. So when you're setting these goals and they sound good on paper, or there's somebody else's goals, and so I feel like I need to adopt that because that's what all these successful women are doing. Well, that's not your lane, first of all.
Right.
But you don't know that because you never really answered those huge questions. Like, what do I want my life to be about? What do I want to pass down to my children? What do I want them to never, ever forget? What do I want to model for them? If you don't answer those questions, then you are going to be exhausted and burn out and weary and feel very disconnected. So we are able to, by day 4, actually set meaningful goals that are connected to the bigger picture of our life. And then by day 5, we're creating action plans to actually make that stuff happen.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like, it sounds like, how could you possibly get all of that done in 5 days? You can totally do it. I mean, it's very practical. It hits all the high points. And then what's cool is you can come back to it over and over and over. As many times as you need to.
Absolutely. So that is your 5 days.
Yeah.
So let's just say hypothetically, I would come to you as a business coach.
Yep.
Okay. So how does that look? A woman like me, new business, year and a half.
Yeah.
How does that look?
So I have 2 coaching programs for women. Peaceful Productivity, the online course is for anybody. But if you are in business or exploring business, or you are ready to dream with other people, or you've been in business and you're just ready, you need some guidance, maybe you feel like you've gotten as far as you can on your own, then that's where I come in. So I have 2 programs, one for dreamers and one for doers. The difference between dreamers and doers is that a dreamer, that is a small group coaching program. So it's me coaching you in a group of women who are in about the same space that you are. And that is for somebody who's maybe not making any money in their business yet. They're trying to be really more conservative about their investment, and they need some help, but just don't have all the pieces in place yet. So I can help you get your thing launched, or help you answer some of the big questions. A lot of women throw a lot of money away at different things because they're just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Trying to figure it out.
Yes, let me outsource this and outsource this and outsource this, but you don't have a clear vision or plan yet. So that's what Dreamers is for. So we'll create a plan together in that small group. Doers is for women who are in business already. They're already making money in their business. They just need some more intense focus. They need someone to give them more specific strategic guidance. And that is just one-on-one. So dreamer versus doers, both of them are 9 months. So because I am a single mom, I will always take summers off, because that's kind of the only way that I have found peace in my own life. So those programs will be like September to May.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
During the school year.
Yep. During the school year. And I think we all need to break and reset in the summer anyway.
100%. So is that all online? Not online, but is it virtually?
It can be virtually. If there's women who are in my area, I love anything in person. So there will be in-person and online options. Certainly I can coach women anywhere. That's the beauty of, again, the internet. So I can work with any women from anywhere, but we'll also have part of like my coaching community is getting together and networking. There's so much power in relationships. So creating events, retreats, things like that, where women can meet in person from anywhere to work together and network. That's part of it as well.
That's right. Because a lot of times it's who you know.
Totally who you know. I mean, I can't stress that enough.
I know. It's crazy. Yeah. It is who you know. 100%.
Absolutely.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Can you believe if sitting in the dentist's office and you didn't know where to go to college?
No, and that's the cool thing. I mean, there's just, number one, nothing in life is ever wasted. It all matters. Nothing is wasted. None of our pain. I mean, I've been through some really difficult things that we didn't even talk about, but nothing is wasted. And every single thing in our lives it's important, and God uses all of it, but we have no idea where those arrows are pointing, really. We don't have any idea what it's leading us to. But I think there's a lot of things that can get in our way, like getting really hung up on end results, or things are supposed to look a certain way, and then we can't get over it when life is not looking like we thought it was going to. And spoiler alert, I think we've all figured out in 2020 that nobody's life today looks like what they thought it was going to look like 6 months ago.
No way.
So if you cannot adapt and you cannot rebound from disappointment, you will suffocate under the weight and pressure of the world.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's so important. And as in raising children, that's become the most important thing to me, is to raise daughters who are resilient and who know how to overcome and navigate disappointment in life.
Right.
So yeah, as I was leaving to come here today, my 6-year-old was crying in bed. And she's like, this day is just going to be horrible, isn't it? She's very dramatic and I love it. And I'm like, why is it going to be horrible? She's like, well, The cat almost got out. I was like, well, but the cat didn't get out. So what if instead of this day is going to be horrible because my cat almost got out, what if it's the best day because my cat didn't get out? But it's so easy. I mean, oh my gosh.
Change the way you say things.
I said, Sadie, why don't we flip the script and say, today's going to be a great day because my cat did not get out.
Thank goodness.
And so I tucked that away because I thought, I need this. I need to be reminded, because almost on a weekly basis, it seems like there's just one more thing that isn't going the way we planned.
Right.
But what if the gift of COVID, and on day one of Peaceful Productivity, I ask about different things, but like, what are the gifts of this difficult season? There's been so many. What am I proud of in this season? So many things, but we don't stop and think about that.
No, we don't.
No.
We don't, because we think that it's the worst day of our life because the cat almost got out.
The cat almost got out.
It almost got out. I know. But what a fantastic mother. I mean,
thank you.
Oh, Sarah, that is you have such a gift.
Thank you.
And you can give this gift to your gifts, right?
They are my gifts.
They are your gifts. I know. And being a single mom, it's tough. It is tough. I've been there and I had the best case scenario, but it is tough because we were talking earlier, the guilt.
Right.
You know, what would this look like if I wasn't single,
right.
a single mom? So yeah, it's the guilt. And I think that comes in every form and fashion in everything you're doing.
Totally.
Everything you're doing. Okay. So on your website, I have to say, so I said, okay, what is it? Things to know.
Yeah.
This is things to know about Sarah. So things to know. I had to ask my 21-year-old I said, Kennedy, what is an Enneagram? And I said, it says Sarah she is an Enneagram 9W1. And I love to talk about this. So I said, what is that?
Yes.
She goes, Mom, oh gosh, come on. It's a personality. I mean, it's a test. I took a test and you would totally be this because I'm a 6. And so what in the world is this?
What is the Enneagram?
Can you explain this, please?
Yeah, totally. I love to talk about the Enneagram. It's been around forever for I don't know.
No, it has not.
Like hundreds of years or something. I don't know. I could be exaggerating by hundreds. Maybe it's like 100. I don't know. It's a long time.
Okay. They didn't teach that at Wortham High School.
No, it's surged in popularity in probably the last decade. I would say even the last couple of years. It's taken on a life of its own in pop culture. But you know how Myers-Briggs used to be really popular. This is the new. It's different. It's a different type of
I've heard
typing
of Myers-Briggs.
system.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm sure you've heard of Myers-Briggs.
Judgers. Yes.
But there's 9 types and they're numbered 1 through 9. And so the cardinal rule of the Enneagram is that you are not supposed to type someone else, but it's very hard not to type other people. When you read about it, you're like, oh my gosh, she's acting like that because she's being such an 8 right now. Or, oh, that is such a 1. Or it's also a great excuse to get out of a lot of things. Like, I'm sorry, I'm feeling very 9. I just need to take a nap.
Okay. So your personalities.
Yeah.
Okay. You've listened to her now, everyone, for almost 50 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the first one was seek routine and moral action. You think with this one? Okay, nailed it.
Yeah,
nailed
morality is very important to me. And I'm not talking about religious morality. I'm talking about, well, I mean, it can fall in line with that, but just like right and wrong. To me, it's easy to do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Yeah, that's just why would you not do the right thing? Whatever the right thing is. Yeah.
You know what? That brings up another point.
Mm-hmm.
So people, okay, I'm going to go to this because I've been hacked quite a bit lately. That's not right.
That's not okay.
It's not okay. Mm-hmm. Why do you hackers think that it's okay to hack and take my money out of my bank account and to hack my Instagram? Why is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you sleep at night?
Yeah. I mean, there's right and wrong.
Right.
Okay.
Totally.
Number 2 for you is fear, misfortune, and isolation. Is this true?
Yes.
I like to be isolated sometimes.
So it's interesting because I feel like 9s usually recharge. It's very important to have a balance of alone time. While I love people, I would not consider myself a true extrovert. I think I'm probably pretty introverted, quiet space, but isolation would be absolutely terrifying. I think I'm probably the most peopled person in my family. I don't know. My youngest brother and I probably are similar, but they don't understand my desire to be around people. But it's very balanced with, I recharge alone and then so that I can be with all the people.
Well, and my goodness, your business, all your businesses are people.
People. I'm passionate about people.
Yeah. You're a music teacher.
Yeah. People and their stories. I was talking to somebody last night and I had a lot of follow-up questions and they were like, you're really, I don't remember how he said it, but like, you're asking me a lot of questions. And I was like, I'm not trying to interrogate. I just really need answers. I need to know your story. Everybody's story is so important to me.
I love hearing people's story.
Me too.
You know, when we book a guest on the show and then I have, different guests that I'm interested in, but when I start reading their bio and they're friends of mine and I'm like, I didn't know that about you. Yeah. I love seeing that. I'm slightly embarrassed, but okay. And I think so. I knew someone in Austin one time, and I'd known him for a very long time. She's like, I didn't know you were a chef. How'd you miss that? How did you miss that?
Right.
Oh, you're not on Facebook. Never mind. Okay. The third one was optimistic and orderly. I can totally see that. You are such an optimist.
Eternal optimist.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I mean, in your heart?
Totally. Wow. Now, so not to get too deep into the Enneagram, but there's arrows like of integration and disintegration, which would be stress and growth. So in stress, a 9 would go to a 6. So you said Kennedy's a 6. So 6s are generally, can be cynical or the sky is falling and prepare for the worst case scenario. So I can tell under stress, I can get
you can go there.
Yeah. And it's generally like my belief and confidence in people, like not trusting people. But when I'm feeling that way, I recognize, oh, you are not living your best life, Sarah. You need to go do something that makes you feel like a person because you are being very judgy right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Judgy people.
Judgy.
Avoid disturbing peace and balance. Really?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's,
you don't like drama.
No. So I've had to, now any of our personalities don't exclude us from being able to do certain things. Or if you really adopt and embrace your personality type, you can very easily start creating some limiting beliefs too, or use it as an excuse not to, or to get out of something. So I will say that as a business owner, when my true core is peacemaking, the first few years in business were hard for me because there's a lot of situations that come up that are not peaceful when it comes to hiring or firing or dealing with difficult customers. I haven't had a lot of that, but enough to like really cause me to have to grow in those areas. But it drains me. So on the flip side of that, if I've had a contentious situation, I am wiped out. I mean, it wipes me out
mentally and physically.
Totally.
Drains you.
Yes.
No
and
drama.
I have to be around people who don't enjoy conflict because there are certain personality types that they need conflict they thrive.
Yes.
It's so wild to me, but they need that tension. They need to explore that, to talk things through or to argue or whatever. That it makes me want to die.
Yes.
I absolutely hate it.
And I know people like that.
Yeah.
I think do. And I think of it, there was a drama in my life when I was, and I think it boils down to the insecurities too.
Totally.
Oh my gosh. Totally insecurities, not really knowing who you are. Okay. So numb yourself to their problems. Sarah, do you do that?
Is that saying that's what I do?
This is one of the personality traits. Do you, and it says you numb yourself to their problems. The 9W1.
9W1. I feel like I'm not numb enough to people's problems. That does not resonate with me. I'm pretty empathetic.
Okay.
Probably maybe to a fault.
Yeah. For your problems.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you are empathetic. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Go ahead and do it. You're not supposed to do this. What am I? What number? I don't even know.
Well, I don't know you well enough to know. What did Kennedy think you were? Do you remember?
She didn't say.
Oh, okay.
She was going off to teach herself.
Well, I could see maybe potentially some perfectionism or some achiever.
You think?
So those are two different numbers.
Oh no, I'm a
you could be.
mutt.
Do you feel like you also are a peacemaker? Is keeping peace important to you?
Mm-hmm.
So you could maybe be something like a perfectionist, like a 1 with a 9 wing or a 9 with a 1 wing, but I can't type you because then you have to explore. There's a really great book called The Road Back to You. Very easy to read. And it just goes through the 9 types and describes each one of them. And the best way to know your type is not to take a test, because I've known people who've taken 3 tests and gotten 3 different things. So just read the book or skim it and go, oh my gosh, that's me. You just described me.
Okay.
And that's the best way to know.
I was searching for this before my daughter walked in. I'm trying to Google it and see so I can intelligently, I can't even speak. I can't even say the word, but I was trying to intelligently discuss this with you, and how many pop-ups on my screen to take the test. I went, I'll do it tonight. I'm going to do it. I'll be back. Well,
if you want to test, the best one is EnneagramInstitute.com. It's the most official one. It comes with tons of resources, but you can also go on there and again, read the type descriptions without even taking the test, and then just go, oh my gosh, that's me. What's cool about that website is it's, has a whole section for relationships. So if it describes how people of different types relate. So if you're married, say you're a 9 married to an 8, it will tell you the best and worst things about that and how to navigate that. Or even with your kids, if they're old enough to identify that, then you can read about it. That part to me is very interesting.
See, I'm back in the day when in your business setting, you took a test, a personality test, and I'm a green yellow.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Green yellow is totally me.
Cheerleader.
Yeah, maybe that was a few years ago. So, okay.
Funny.
It also said on there, the things I need to know about this. This is funny. And as we approach the noon hour, tacos make me happy. Really happy.
Totally.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
What kind of pizza?
Oh gosh, right. That sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What kind of tacos?
I love brisket tacos.
Brisket tacos.
Street tacos.
Okay. Street tacos would be on a corn soft tortilla.
Totally. With cilantro and onion. The very best ones I've ever found recently were at a gas station in Mansfield. Yeah, I know. Crazy. Just wandered in and I was like, wow,
what?
I belong here.
They make it, they're fresh?
Yes. And they make their own chips. It's so good. It's called Main Street Tacos and More.
Oh my goodness.
If you're a taco traveler, it's at the intersection of Main Street and Newt Patterson.
You're kidding.
No.
Shout out to...
I think it's in a Chevron. I don't even know the gas station. Who cares? Tacos, Main Street Tacos and More. That's all you need to know.
Main Street
They're so good. They're little street tacos. But I mean, I'll settle for any kind of taco.
Are you a salsa kind of girl?
Totally.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Spicy.
I kind of like medium. Medium. I also like pico de gallo.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of it.
Oh my goodness. So you're loving tacos.
I love tacos. But I really love pizza too. Like tacos and pizza.
I can't eat pizza.
You can't?
No. Gluten.
Sorry. Oh, gosh. I thank God every day that I do not have a gluten allergy.
No, I don't. I just am very sensitive. So no. But I love dreaming about it.
Dreaming about pizza.
I'm a dreamer. I can't be a doer when it comes to pizza. Do your daughters like tacos?
No.
What?
They do. I know my daughters are not. Yeah. Yes. Someday they will.
Well, Sarah, I cannot thank you enough for coming on. You are such a gift. Such a gift to women and all your students and all the people that, hey, maybe I have to visit with you for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, she's going to teach me to sing.
I can't wait.
Oh my gosh.
We can do a whole podcast, just a voice lesson.
Oh my goodness. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun.
No one would listen. I would get 0 ratings. Are you kidding? Okay, guys, I want you to follow Sarah, and on Instagram, it's Sarah Conley, Conley Darby. And then tell us your website again.
musicdestinystudio.net. Business coaching is sarahdarby.net.
Okay. And don't forget the mommies and dads that need some arts and some music for the school year, the upcoming school year, those of you that are teaching at home, homeschooling.
Exactly.
And everyone, please do me a huge favor. Can you go and rate and review this podcast? Please rate and review me, and please keep listening and follow me on Instagram at Tiffany C. Blackman. And everyone, keep being fabulous.